If your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle, this is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle. Under pressure, never break or fold. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now welcome to the hustle. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hustle, hustle, yeah. Hustle, hustle, yeah, yeah. Hustle.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Hustle Podcast on an illustrious, stormy, trafficky Montreal evening.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tour de Nuit.
Yeah.
Super splendid.
Yeah.
It's the bane and beauty of Montreal. You know, there's an amazing, beautiful essence to Montreal, accommodation towards pedestrians and cyclists. And unfortunately, as drivers, sometimes we have to pay the price, but we get to also enjoy it on the other side. So it's a strange, it's a strange dichotomy to deal with. But
Well, you're definitely the optimist in this relationship, for sure. I would say.
I mean, look, I'm trying to look good for the camera.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Tech? We're on camera here.
Whereas I've let that go quite a while ago. But listen, we have been embarking, I don't know if that's the right word, but we've definitely been gathering steam. We've been gathering momentum over the course of the last couple of weeks. I think that we have leveled up a little bit with the guests. And I say that to say this. We've done it again, ladies and gentlemen. So on today's show, we do have a very special guest, and I'm going to let Basics go ahead and do what he has.
I'll get out of the seat. So that you're a special guest?
No.
Because that can't be me, so that must be some other guy, right?
No, it's you. Chill. It's a podcast.
The best self-introduction.
You can flex a little bit. You can flex a little bit.
Humor.
No.
And personality.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm super excited. When I first was asked to join the podcast, I made a list of people that were both artists and entrepreneurs that I would be interested in bringing on and building with. And this person was on that list.
Yep.
Super excited. He is an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Urban Science. He's a leader of the Urban Science Brass Band. I mean, he's so many different things, a man of many hats, and an always endearing personality. I'm super excited, man. We have Vincent Stephen Ong, a.k.a. VSO.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. Welcome to the pod, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I
making
still
the
think
time.
you have the wrong guest on. I'm definitely not that special.
Well, let's
guy.
get into that. What makes you think that you're not that special, brother?
Jesus. You know what? I'm perfect for this. The hustle. I like to work. Mm-hmm. That's all I really see it as. I like to work. I don't think that what I do is all that special, although I'm very thankful that I get to do it. I'm happy to keep hustling, to keep working,
Yeah.
But it's work. It's just doing that. I don't think of myself. I think of myself as having some opportunities made available and going full throttle into them. But not everybody has that option. We'll get into that maybe a little bit, but I don't think I'm that special. Sorry. You can turn off the podcast now.
No.
Like and subscribe.
We need at least a certain amount of minutes for this
Just a joke.
to
right.
register on the algorithm.
Okay, wait, hold on.
don't
So,
do that.
tuned in.
Stay tuned in.
I'll soon
Basically,
tell
you're gonna
you
get
how to make your first million.
Ooh.
See, now they'll stay.
Yeah, now they're hooked. That was the hook right there.
Now I'm staying.
That was it. Yeah, I need $1 million, bro.
I mean, jeez.
The answer is you start with 2 million.
You kind of set us up there, Vince.
No.
But
That's hysterical.
hey, you know what? It's kind of refreshing to talk to somebody who doesn't necessarily think that they're the center of the universe once in a while. No, I mean it is nice because I'm not throwing shade at anybody in particular. We love all our guests, and I do mean that genuinely. But when you're dealing with artists specifically, you do run into some fairly large egos. We can say, I think, comfortably, right? So it's nice because I kind of feel the same way. Now I have a question for you because I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you are, believe it or not, because people think I'm really arrogant and cocky, and I'm not. This is just my face.
Because you have big, strong muscles.
That is why, isn't it? That is why. Yeah, thank you, Basics. I really appreciate it. You just kind of made my night, actually.
I know you like that.
I do like it, yeah. But I what I'm saying is I used to kind of take myself a lot more serious in my younger age. A lot more, quite a lot more serious. And the older I get, I feel like I just kind of lost that sense of feeling like I'm the center of attention or having to be the center of attention all the time. Is that something similar for you, or were you always kind of just like,
Well, I think like I think it's sometimes we have to protect ourselves, and sometimes being like I'm the greatest is a way of doing that.
Yeah, armor.
You know, and it's not only armor. Maybe that's the wrong term I'm using in the sense of like, we have people that we look up to, and we maybe consider them to be masters of their craft, right? Do they believe that they are masters of their craft? And if they do, at what point did they start saying, I'm a master?
Interesting.
So years and years and years ago, I was playing this just random gig in a coffee shop, like nothing special, little jazz trio, you know. But the bass player at some point talked to me and the guitar player and was like, you know, you guys have to look in the, he was much older, you know, and he said, you guys have to look in the mirror every single day and say, I am a master. And I was like, no, like I can't. At first, I'm not, and I can't, you know. But as time went on, I understood where that was coming from a little bit more, right? Like, if you don't take yourself seriously, how are other people going to take yourself seriously, right? If you're constantly self-deprecating, people are like, well, that guy doesn't know what he's doing, like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there was like a time where I was like, I'm going to take charge and I'm the master and whatever. I wouldn't say there was necessarily that, but. Well, you know what? It's kind of tied back to what I said at the beginning, is that I just work. I work. I think that if people know me nowadays, it's mostly through the things that I do. Like if they know me before we've met, it's mostly through the projects that I've done. So I don't have to prove myself. It's just like, well, I've done these things. You either like them or don't like them. And I'm not going to convince you at this point. Like, you know what I mean? You either like it or you don't, you know?
Yeah.
That's fair.
In terms of my skills as an artist, in terms of my ability to play the saxophone or whatever, I'm not the greatest saxophone player in Montreal. I'm not the greatest saxophone player in the world. I'm not the greatest saxophone player maybe in this building. I don't know, you know? So, but I found a way to play at I'm not even going to say a level of my satisfaction, because if you're an artist, you're always working on your craft.
You always want more.
Exactly, you know?
So real.
Yeah.
But I'm better than I was before, you know, so that's something, you know. And in terms of what I'm able to enjoy, either through my playing or through my abilities to organize, because I think I'm almost more of an organizer now than pure artist.
Okay.
You said entrepreneur, right? And I guess there's that aspect of it. But I would say, you know, sometimes we do things not necessarily for the money,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So that's why I say organizer, right? I'll put the right
I agree,
people
yeah,
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to
No.
cut off your
It's just
thought
we got to
process,
have a
but
good time. That's it.
I think that when I say entrepreneur, I also mean what you're talking about just community organizer, community builder, sort of networker, also just evolver of people by proxy of putting people in the same room, same stage, same platforms, same experiences.
In fact, that's the key for me, just putting people in the same room together, right? Like, one of the reasons why I started, so one of the projects that I've started, Cypher, which is a hip-hop jam session, one of the reasons why I started it was, like, I knew some MCs. Like, at the time, I was still touring with Nomadic a little bit, played with Community, played with a bunch of different projects, knew a lot of great MCs, soul singers, all this, and then also knew, like, people who were, like, going to jazz school, you know, and they were into jazz, but maybe wanted to explore other things, but they didn't know any beat makers, they didn't know any MCs, they didn't know anything. It's like, why don't we just make an event where all those people are in one place? I'm not gonna like introduce, hey, basics, meet this jazz guitar. Like, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm just gonna put you in the same room.
And then the rest is up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of it. So that's why I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. Networker, it makes me go ick a little bit, but you know, I just put people in the same room. I put people in the same room.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
that's how I see
Yeah.
it.
No, I can definitely vouch for that. And there's a certain like energy that is created through these relationships. And like I said, a leveling up, because I mean, I can speak for myself, but before I even speak about my own experience and leveling up and how, you know, coming to Cypher, meeting you, et cetera, has helped and grown my career as basics, but just watching people become better musicians through time, as well as people becoming better MCs and singers and vocalists through coming to Cypher through its different iterations since Vinyl Bar. And so to see the leveling up is something that it's kind of cool because it's part of your, I mean, I know you're not going to like this word, but it's part of your legacy. It's part of your...
No, actually, I'm down with that because that implies I'm going to die soon. So, yes.
It's so funny because I was gonna say legacy and lineage, like you know, like when there's like in sports, which I know you're a huge fan of.
Yeah,
In sports,
I'm a big fan of
sometimes
the sports ball.
The
yeah.
sports ball.
Sports ball, yeah.
The touchdown.
What,
with the,
there's a game tonight. What inning is it?
exactly.
Is it?
Fourth inning.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
See, your joking took me completely out of my thought process.
sorry.
What was I just saying?
He's challenging your professionalism here. Bro. He's challenging your
It's a lack of professionalism to challenge.
Right?
legacy, brother.
Legacy,
Legacy.
yes,
I
lineage,
was gonna say legacy
yes.
and lineage, and like a very huge head coach who, like a Bill Belichick, who's got all these other coaches who coached under him as an offensive coordinator, as an assistant, whatever, and then they go on to be a head coach at this university or at this other team, and they in sports they call it like a coaching tree.
Sure.
And so in a way, you've got this huge, like, again, I know you're not going to want to take credit for this, but you're kind of like the root of a gigantic Montreal musical tree, like a hugely spawning musical tree of many different MCs, vocalists of different styles, of different musicians, of different instruments, of different levels of success, from Grammy winners even. Like, and so
That's crazy.
I do have to say, I'm not a root. I'm just one of the branches. The root goes way, way back. But
what
yeah.
would you say is the root? What would you say is the some of the foundation?
See, this is what I would love somebody to do. I would love somebody to do a documentary on the history of black music in Montreal.
Oof.
Right? Usually what you get is a thing on jazz, Oscar Peterson,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then that's it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right? And then you might get like a mini doc on like what I'm doing, what Community was doing, what Grove is doing.
Right.
You know, you might get like a mini, like a 3-minute thing or whatever. What happened in between?
Yeah.
Right? And there's tons of artists, Aliens, there's all Alan Prater's from that older generation. There's a bunch of tons of people, but we don't really talk about it. And also, like, what's in between them and Oscar Peterson?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
where did that, So I would love somebody to go deep into that and also do it now because a lot of those people are getting much older.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to talk to them soon, you know? You were saying, you made your so I am definitely not a sports ball connoisseur, but I do know my video games. And back in the day, there was a video game called Pat Riley's Basketball. So I would say, from what little I know of Pat Riley, I feel like I'm kind of like that. Like, I'm not Michael Jordan, for sure not. But maybe I could coach somebody who is okay to be better, So I could be the Pat Riley or the whatever, bring somebody, put the right people together, use their strengths, work on their weaknesses. But at the end of the day, it's like my style of playing. Like this is what I want to achieve, So there is still like the boss at the head of the pyramid or whatever you want to call it. Illuminati confirmed. But
I knew it.
because I hesitate. Like I'm happy that you have this view of the impact that I've had. But at the end of the day, all art is subjective. So for you to say like, oh, you made me better at perhaps something that we had in common in terms of there's certain things that we wanted to achieve. Like I wanted to do this, you wanted to do this, and you found the middle ground. You're like, yes, this is how I'm gonna improve, or whatever. But there might be stuff that I said to you or to anybody that somebody else is like, I don't vibe with that. That's not what I want to do. That's not my thing. So just because I think that's the progress doesn't necessarily mean, But all that to say, I think we all learn from who came before. I definitely learned a lot from Community, definitely learned a lot from Pneumatic Massive. The main project that inspired the creation of Cypher is a project called The Lesson, which is was based in New York, Arlene's Grocery.
Right.
Yeah. And which I discovered thanks to both Community and Pneumatic, because Community Jordan Peters used to play guitar with Community. He eventually moved to New York and he started playing with the Lesson Crew. At a later point, I was touring with Pneumatic. We went to New York for something, and they said, hey, let's go to the Lesson. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. So that's how I discovered it. And the Lesson is literally a live band hip hop jam session. And I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. Can I say that? I don't even know. I'm not.
Of course.
It's not going on CBC radio. I don't know.
We ain't there yet.
But yeah, it was just like, oh, this is a live band hip hop jam session. Montreal doesn't have this. I'm going to bring this to Montreal, you know? So that was kind of the beginning of it, you know? And took the lessons from all those other people, all those other. So my point is just to say anything that I've created is also coming from what came before, you know? So when you said I'm the root of a tree, I'm like, no. Maybe the root is actually the branch of one other tree. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
you know.
All right. That's a
you know, that's all
better
I'm saying.
macro perspective.
And I'm also not trying to be like, what's the word? When you always disagree with the person, like on principle. You're like a
devil's advocate.
Contrarian. Yeah. But it's just like I hear you say that, I'm like, ooh, I can't. But it's not like everything you say. We're like, well, no, actually, this is how.
No, that's good though. It's good to like at the beginning, you know, humble. We're not special. We're not. You know what I mean? We're just a piece in the
Spoke
cog.
on a wheel, brother.
I don't know if we are not special. I don't think I'm special. I'm just working. You know.
Hustling.
You guys might be special.
No,
I don't know.
I'm just a muscular guy. You know.
You got the special flex.
I do have the special flex, absolutely. One thing that like I kind of and listen, I do want to preface what I'm about to say. Like I want to put a disclaimer out there because I've never actually been to Cypher, and it's nothing against Cypher
getting
or
out.
against.
I'm
Yeah, he's
getting
out.
out
See, I just scared off the guess. No, it's nothing against the event or the people in the event. It's just that it's a me thing. I have social anxiety. I'm supposed to be working on it. I haven't started yet, but I'll get to it. Basically,
okay.
You know,
Acknowledgement is
yeah,
key.
exactly right. It's the first step in the 12-step program is acknowledging it. But everything that I've heard anybody, because I know quite a few people that have passed through there in the past. And basically, one of the through lines that I've heard about it is that it's this super welcoming environment where artists can really just go and have fun, right? Experiment, have a good time. It's not necessarily taken too serious. I mean that in a positive way. And I think that that's a super important thing for musicians, especially rappers, to have, because we come from a world where everything is so critiqued, so judged, so serious. You got to be the alpha all the time. You got to be the best all the time. I think it's super important to just be able to go somewhere, kick it, let it flow, and just have a fucking good time with music. I think what I'm trying to say is I think that artists get so caught up in the business aspect of what we do, trying to, you know, make sure our marketing's on point, make sure that the social media is on point, make sure that everything is on brand, this, that, and the third. We forget that at its root, to bring it back to that word, at its root, this is supposed to be fun, bro. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Right?
That is like the sort of the concept of it, right? Like I said, I just put the right people in the room together,
Yeah.
right? Put a really like it was kind of fashioned off of house parties that I'd been to where it's in somebody's basement and there's a drum kit in the back and it's like a whole bunch of artists and we're like, hey, let's just fuck around, you know? Yes, we are on stage and blah blah blah, you know. And there, not to say that there's no quality control or
No,
something.
of course, that's not
you
what
know,
I meant.
Of course.
That's not what I meant.
And you're gonna have to edit that out. But I literally, that's not. How do I transition from there? Anyway,
Quality
whatever.
control.
Yeah, quality control. You know, we do care, obviously. You know, but it's also, you know, back in the day, Senecal, who's one of our hosts, he used to describe it as the Cypher show.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was like, you know what? I mean, if you say Cypher show, it's kind of funny. It's fine. It's almost like a joke word. But I would tend to avoid describing it as a show. Cypher show is fine, but if you're like, everybody, welcome to the show, then I'm like, maybe. But now we're pushing it a little bit because it's almost an anti-show, right? It's like what you're saying about like I worked on my beats and I practiced my stuff and I got to perform it perfectly. Yeah. It's like, no, we haven't worked on these beats. Yeah. We haven't performed this perfectly. It's just, we're fucking around. I'm in the middle of doing something and Basics comes on stage. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen now. We don't know what it is.
Let's create.
So there's also an acceptance on the part of the audience that is a bit more open because they know that this was not rehearsed. You know, although, funnily enough, last night somebody came up to me and was asking about the event and was like, so when do you guys rehearse? And I was like, no, we don't. And he's like, no, but really, when do you rehearse? I'm like, no, really, we don't. It's
kind of like the whole point.
This is, yeah. But the fact that people don't believe it or aren't sure, I'm like, okay, we're actually achieving what we were trying to do, you know? So that said, I think if you look at it quite, carefully, you will know that it is not rehearsed, and you'll know that, oh, that's a mistake. Oh, that's a mistake. Yeah. It's impossible to be perfect. You know, I slurred some words just now because I didn't practice this speech. You know what I mean? So what's going to happen?
It's like great freestyling to the point and level and proficiency where someone thinks that you're spitting pre-written verses, and it's like, no, I'm just coming up with this right now, you know? It's like, no, you're not.
The Black Thought 10-minute freestyle, right?
Oh my God.
Like everyone was like, wait, is it actually freestyle? Because it was that good.
Right, yeah.
You know?
I mean, that to me was that different side of freestyle where it's just like a free verse that's written and you can just rap to whatever beat.
Yes,
but the level of to be able to remember that much material.
Well, that's also
and
why I'm like,
flow through it perfectly
if
in
it was
one take.
If it was 50% freestyle, it's still amazing.
Oh my God.
Right? Like it's not like you haven't rhymed word X with word Y ever before in your life.
Exactly.
Right? So, okay, 50%, 60%, like at what point is it a true freestyle?
Yeah.
Regardless, it is an incredible achievement.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, like when I play the saxophone, I played a B. I've played a B before. Like who cares? Like if I played a certain note, like who cares, you know? So yeah, no, it's the achievement is remarkable regardless of that, you know.
It's interesting because I've come to Cypher both as a fan and as an artist, and I do love the fact that it's turned into I feel like the intentionality of Cypher through time has evolved.
Sure.
Because it used to be a lot more, not to say chaotic.
Yeah,
but
it was.
At this point, it feels like there's, instead of an improvisational jam session, it's improvisational music creation, song creation. And it's just like, we're just not recording any of this or being in the studio, but we're making songs.
Although we do record now,
Yeah, absolutely. Fire. Check out Bandcamp and go download the Cypher album. But I think that's one of the most interesting things about Cypher as both a fan and an artist is to experience this kind of not illusion, but this sense of feeling of just like, wait a minute, how is this random spark or thought turning into a song in front of me?
Yeah. Well, one of the things to modify a phrase, any sufficiently advanced music is indistinguishable from magic, right? So it's developed over time. When we first started, you could definitely tell, you know? And there's times where it's not working, you know, because we are taking chances. If it always worked, that would mean we never took chances, right?
Yeah.
We take chances. Sometimes we fall on our faces, but we were trying for something. We had good intentions. We were trying for something. There is I would say the idea of collaboratively creating music or songs or an album or whatever together was always the goal, but I think we just didn't achieve it at the beginning, you know? Like everyone, you're working on your shit, trying to get better and better and better. Now we've reached a stage where people are asking, when do you guys rehearse? Yeah. But in the past, nobody asked us that because they could tell, you know? But that's fine, you know? It's fine. Like, it's a natural part of the evolution. It's also, you know what? The thing, so Cypher's 12 years now, right? 12 years old. So there's people that have been there since the beginning, right? Well, definitely me, and there's a couple of other people too. Now, of course, lives moved on, changes, whatever, you know, but there's a new generation of people coming in. So now we have a really diverse, diverse in terms of like age and like, you know, you can't help but like largely be friends with people of a similar age that maybe you went to school together or you worked together or whatever, right? So in this case, we had people that were all playing together, and now some of them have left, and this new generation have come. So there's this sort of mix-up happening. Mm-hmm. Maybe the older generation is really into boom bap beats and like Tribe Called Quest, classic, you know, hip-hop, and the younger generation is like, Drake is a hip-hop artist, and they are totally into that. And like, where does this meet, you know, in the middle? So now there's like this interesting thing where like my musical instincts and somebody else's that's 20 years younger than me can have a very different approach, but we could create something really cool together.
That's actually fascinating to see it play out in real time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember like when we started Cypher, I was really pushing towards, here's one of the things about Montreal. Every time you go to a hip hop event, well, okay, now I'm shitting all over every hip hop event.
No, let's go.
Okay,
It's
here we
usually
go.
my job.
I'm gonna
so
get some.
I'll let you take
fucking-
it.
Anyway,
No self-editing.
fucking, here we go. Okay, so anyway, I mean, I feel that if it's not even a Montreal thing, I feel like it's a Canada thing. If you go to hip hop events in Canada in general, pretty good chance you're going to hear some golden age hip hop, right? Some classic stuff. You go to a hip hop event in the U.S., you're not going to hear any of that.
It's drill.
You're going to hear contemporary music. You're going to hear local artists.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to hear. So it's like we're embracing this like historical artifact. Not that I love that music. Like, don't get me wrong, you know. But if you go to a hip hop event and that's all you hear, it's like, oh, it must be a Canadian. Like I can imagine some, guy from the States somewhere coming up here and be like, oh, so this is what a Canadian hip hop
So
event
yeah,
is.
I am down with OPP.
Right? Listen,
Yeah,
let your backbone slide, man. That's, you know?
And I love that stuff
I
too.
mean,
I
it's
love
classic.
if it's not the entire night. If it's like one thing, you're like, whoa, okay, he's playing. But where was I going with that? Well, just to say that things evolve over time. And I consider the music today that is in the hip hop rap category to be just as much part of hip hop as the stuff that I grew up listening to.
glad you said that.
And I see the connection, but I also see there's a generational divide. Just like even if I listen to the same music, like the same genre of music, take any genre, take country music, take the country music today and the country
the
music when your parents were
90s,
like
yeah.
completely
They
different.
wouldn't be feeling shabuzi out of it.
Definitely not. So there's an evolution. Now you can reject that and be like, no, well, this is the thing I like. That's fine. But there's also something beautiful about that connection and that continuity. There was also like I've had opportunities to travel a little bit, and in particular, New Orleans holds a very dear to my heart place for me for many, many reasons. But there was one event that I went to where beginning of the night, hip hop, a lot of local artists, bounce, DJ playing, young people, old people dancing to this, and then the main act was a brass band. Those same people that were twerking, that were dancing, that were whatever to the hip hop are dancing to the brass band. And just showing this is a direct lineage. It's not one and the other. It's the same
Especially
culture.
in Louisiana, because that shit is baked into the DNA.
It's
bro.
in
Like,
there,
yeah,
And when you hear the two back to back, you're like, I get it now.
Wow.
It's not two separate
'Cause you can
categories
hear
of
the soul
Spotify.
of both. Like,
Yes,
for
absolutely, absolutely. So anyway, it's just interesting to put things back into their cultural context. We talk about that all the time. So yeah.
The description of what you were talking about the Nowlands event, it just reminded me of the scene in Sinners. I don't know if you've seen Sinners.
Yes,
the fourth
I have.
wall breaking scene with
Yes.
the musical connections
Yes.
between the different ages and time. It's so interesting to like talk about the soul of music and that connection throughout, because I feel like that's one of the things that Cypher and live improv, everyone get on the same page at the same time. It's like that's what we're tapping into. We're tapping into that sort of like freedom to be one and to like almost like humble yourself to the process and lose yourself to the greater good of what we're all trying to give to the people and achieve in the moment. But it's unspoken.
Yeah, it's unspoken and
It's
it is
unspoken
spoken.
and spoken.
It-
Like
it's-
when you ask the crowd, okay, what tempo do you
Sure,
want
yeah, when
the
we do that.
drummer?
Yeah.
What notes? C,
Yeah.
B?
Yeah. I mean, it's there's spoken and there's unspoken. There's commonality. Like one of the things about hip hop, I've been doing some workshops and stuff like that. And last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember exactly. We did a bunch where we went to like music students, like studying jazz at McGill or whatever, right? And we talked to them about what we're doing. We worked with them, whatever. But one of the things that kind of came up or that I talked about is like oftentimes people in like music school or whatever, they might poo-poo anything that isn't their thing, right? If they're studying
Right.
jazz is all there is. Everything else is bullshit, Classical, same thing. Jazz is bullshit, and everything else is bullshit, right? And so one of the things I said is, if you want to play hip hop samples. Are you able to play every single style that exists?
Wow.
Because that's what you have to do as an instrumentalist. If it samples a jazz sample, you better be able to play that. And it could be the hardest part of the song. Like one of the things I say when people say, oh, hip hop is easy. I put on Let's Ride by Q-Tip, which is a sample of Giant Steps, which is a notoriously difficult jazz song. And be like, okay, you could just do anything and play this. Oh, you know? So yeah, and you think you can do that. Then you put on something that samples, I don't know, classical Indian music. You're like, okay, now play this.
Hoopty.
Yeah, you know, good luck, you know? So yeah, so it's not that music is all about what's hard and what's easy and that's a different thing. But if you're going to poo-poo something, like, you better actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
But I kind of lost. Oh, you're talking about everybody coming together on a common thing. Yeah. So that's the thing. You're all coming with different influences. Everyone's coming with different influences. At the end of the day, we're trying to create something that, A, has a song structure of some kind that is, you know, accepted, that has a coherent musical style, you know? Like, yes, we're going into a hip-hop direction, but is it, you know, an old school 90s R&B thing? Is it a Is it a West Coast G-Funk thing? Is it a, you know, what is it? What are we, like, if you mix them, it could be cool, but it also could just be like, you're just doing n'importe quoi.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, you know, so it does have to have some coherence, you know, and there has to be, whether said or not, there has to be an agreement over what that is, you know. I don't know, if you go up and you're like, I'm doing a verse, that's what I'm doing. But there were 4 verses before you. I don't care how good your verse is. That's not what is needed right now.
We need a bridge.
yeah, exactly.
We need
right?
a hook. We need
Anything
the musicians to play also,
Right. Yeah,
which
exactly.
is another part of,
Right.
you know, this is one of the things because I've said it in my own interviews, and I've also said it here when we've spoken about artists who want to get out there and, you know, get more known in the scene and just get better at performing and et cetera. And I say to people all the time, you know, on most nights in the city, there's an open mic or there's something that you can attend. And specifically, there's Cypher that you can go to, and you can, even just by watching and listening, you can learn to be a better MC, even when eventually you're not performing with a band, because, you know, and this is super funny because I'm an MC, I'm a singer. You know, you like to rap. You want to, I do have a verse, you know? But one of the things you really have to learn as a vocalist of either rapping or singing is when to shut the fuck up. You have to learn when it's not time anymore.
Everyone needs to know that.
Like, no, we had 4 verses. Nobody wants to hear you rap 64 bars in a row right now. We need and also to hear it too, to hear like, okay, it's time for him to solo on the bass. It's not time for you to rap over the solo. Stop rapping. Like,
it's like what I just did right now. I did the inappropriate thing, which was not respond. But if you were speaking and I just, it's like, well, no, let him finish his. So it is a conversation. It is a question and an answer. There are times when it is fun to both overlap and go for it. But there's social convention. There's musical convention that has to be,
That's what I find the most fascinating about it, because to kind of build off of what you were saying, it's almost as though, it's not even almost, it is, where it's like this connective hive mind where everybody kind of dials in with one another, and it is unspoken, which is, that to me, that's fascinating. Like the sociology, the sociological aspect of it is super fascinating, that you could have a room full of people who didn't talk about this beforehand and kind of all arrive to the same destination without a plan in place. It's dope, man.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it is also to be expected, because if it wasn't to be expected, there wouldn't be songs that almost everyone likes, right? There's a reason why we all like song X. Not everyone, but a majority, you know? So that means there is some kind of human sense of like, this is good, you know, that we're moving towards. Yeah. Of course, it's important to be individualistic. It is important to develop your own sound, you know, all these kinds of things. But sometimes I feel like, especially younger people are like, oh, I got my own thing. It's like, okay, cool. But do you like know basic stuff? Like, do you know how to like count bars? You know, do you know what key goes with what key? Like, that's not so much about being creative. It's just like, you just got to know that, you know? So.
or experience it and learn it too, right?
Yeah.
Because And it's twofold. So, you know, there's many times where there's a deer in the headlights experience of someone who steps on the stage as a vocalist, who feels that adrenaline and that rush and that feeling of just like, I have something and I have to get it out. And then they go up and now that chorus ends and it's time and it's, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's like, what the hell is happening? But that's a good thing if you can work through it and then realize and understand what happened, what went wrong, what went right. Is that like, was that like a part of the intentional like aspect that like, cause there has to be space for that to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, you know, that you're making me want to talk about here. And there's stuff that you said earlier about the seamlessness of it and all these things. It's like, you gotta allow, like, even if there's something like that happens that is like awkward and everyone's like, okay, what the fuck's happening? You know what I mean? Even if that happens, like, you do want to minimize the negative impacts of that because it's a communal experience. And if during this interview, I just shit the bed and every question you ask, I just say yes, no. And I just don't expand. You guys are freaking sweating bullets, right? You're like, can we get something more from this guy?
I've experienced it.
Of course you have. Of course you have. So it's like, okay, we don't want that to happen. So you probably have a couple of tricks, right? You're like, if we have one of those guests where they're giving us nothing, we're going to try to feed them stuff so that we can get something out of them, or we'll start talking more, whatever, right? You have some tricks. So maybe that would be the kind of thing that I would apply in that situation. But there's other times where you speak to somebody and you're like, we're just asking the wrong questions. Because they gave me yes or no's for these things, and then I asked them this, and the person opened up, right? So I hesitate to say, like, okay, when something shitty like that happens, get the fuck off stage. You don't deserve to be, like, no, that's not it, you know? But there's also no denying the fact that, you know, you said it was a non-judgmental space, but the reality is we're all judging everybody, ourselves included, right?
I appreciate the honesty.
Obviously, right? Somebody comes
Human
up.
nature, bro.
Yeah, somebody comes up, let's say in the case of a vocalist, an MC, and they come in on the wrong bar. We're all like, right? First of all, we got destabilized. Second of all, like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to count bars. You know, like that's just what happens.
Yeah.
You know? But we've been doing this for 12 years. I've definitely made the right call in certain situations where I'm like, there's an issue here, we got to fix it, blah, blah, blah. But I've also made the wrong call. I've also went and stopped somebody or cut them off or whatever because I was like, oh, this is bad. This is going to go in a bad direction. I got to kind of save the situation. And then later on, as they started coming more and more, I'm like, actually, they could have figured it out, but I kind of cut it out too early.
So let me ask you this. Let me expand on that. So let's put ourselves in the predicament where
He loves the fuckery, by the way.
I mean, it's what I'm here for, bro. I
love it, too.
I'm
Listen,
genuinely
it's
interested.
part of it. It's part of it.
But like, so let's put ourselves in the situation.
Yeah.
There's a guy on stage. He's stinking up the room. How
Oh
are
my
you,
God.
How are you gonna? Are you just gonna saxophone him off stage, or like how do you? What does this entail from you?
So
Wow, like the Apollo?
Yeah, like the Apollo.
Like the
yeah.
Apollo. Just
I mean, okay. I have sort of saxophoned somebody off the
Just
stage.
mad loud.
So one of my, I consider certain instrumental actions to be the equivalent of a verse, right? So if, for example, piano player is taking a solo, that to me is like a verse, right? You wouldn't start doing a verse while somebody else is doing a verse, right? But of course, with MCs, for example, you're not used to working with a piano player. Right? So you're like, what are they doing? I don't know. I don't listen to jazz. I listen to hip hop. What the fuck is this? I guess I'll do a verse.
Like, yo, it's an instrumental, bro. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an instrument, right?
Yeah.
So I may have in the past judged somebody, be like, the fuck are you doing? You know? But then over time, like, wait. They literally don't know.
Yeah, they don't know,
literally,
yeah.
you're just like, you can't fault somebody for not knowing. You can, if you tell them 3 times and they still don't get it, now you can get angry. You know, or you can It's okay, whatever. Get angry, you know. So there's a little bit of that, you know. But in terms of so first of all, yeah. So what I was saying is that there's the instrumental version of a verse, right? So I think everyone needs to be kind of aware of that, you know. And in particular, in our case, we have a band, but we also have vocalists that are part of the band, right? So I should have said instrumentalists and vocalists. Yeah. So it's kind of the vocalist's responsibility to hopefully perceive that this sort of thing is about to happen and either stop it before it happens or sort of massage the issue, you know? So if literally somebody comes up and does a verse in the middle of a thing, I'm hoping that one of the vocalists will be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And literally either kind of push them away from the mic or something, be like, hey, there's a
whisper in their ear.
Yeah, or something. But honestly, if somebody's going right into the mic, they're not at all aware. So the whisper in the ear may not work.
Right.
Like it's the physical thing is not to be aggressive. It's just like they don't know what's going on. They just don't know, you know. And I've literally saxophoned somebody to shut up.
That's amazing.
Because I was like taking a solo and they started, I think it was a singer, started singing like a verse. And I just walked over to them with the saxophone and started playing at maximum volume. I'm like, like I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing here, but now right in your face. Do you think this is appropriate? Like, you know, so, but all, like people are drinking. Like it's not, you know, I got angry because I was being cut off, but it's like, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You know, it's not that big of. I do feel that music is I mean, obviously, if I play music all the time, music is something that's very important to me. So when that musical order gets disrupted, it hits me in a very, you know,
it's a gut punch.
Yeah. So I'm like,
like me in traffic.
You know, like,
like all of us in
you
traffic,
know.
my guy.
So we've had to do a number of things like that, but we're trying to be firm, but also clear about what should or should not happen.
Okay.
But you also need to leave a certain amount of room for people to experiment and try something. We all started actually, that was the point I was going to get at, which is I have made the wrong call about people. Like we've all been somewhere like, that guy doesn't have it. They'll never anything. I've been completely wrong about that, to the extent that some people that I made those bad judgment calls about, I now perform with them regularly because they're great now. And they were learning, you know, and making mistakes and taking a chance to get out there and do it. So, you know, you got to leave room for all of that.
100%.
So basically what we were talking about the twofold situations, about, you know, learning opportunities, you know, stumbling, falling on your face, deer in the headlights moments. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the natural learning process that happens from participating as an artist in Cypher. And I remember a specific example of, this was at Vinyl Bar. I was on stage, the band was playing. I was with Freddie V, he was on my right. And he was singing a chorus. It was towards the end of a song that had been happening. And he was singing a chorus. And he was singing, and Kof was on the side. And I knew that there was something that needed to be sung with what Freddie was doing, but I didn't know what it was, and I knew that in the moment I couldn't hit it, the note, and hit the right harmony for it. And I was just like, "Yo, Kof, can you?" Like, I saw him also knowing what needed to be done, and so I was just like, and when he went on stage, I learned what needed to be done, because when he sang the harmony, I was like, oh, next time that's what I'll do. Great. I'm so happy I didn't make a complete ass of myself. And also what I've learned through time also is like the experience for the other people who are on stage and for the audience of just like, no, like allow the best song, which has also helped me in the studio, which has also helped me working with artists, writing for sync songs for TV. Like all of these things have been part of just like submit yourself to the best musical ending of what is happening. And so like, I would love you to just expound on that.
You know, I think by the end of this interview, we might figure out who, like I said, I was the Pat Riley or whatever. We'll figure out who it is. Now I'm thinking I'm the DJ Khaled. Right? Like I don't make the beats. I don't know anything. But I'll put Freddie V in the room with Kof and with basics, and some magic is gonna happen, right? But it is actually that. Like I do actually respect a certain amount of what DJ Khaled does, in the sense that it is true that putting the right people in the right thing together can generate some incredible things that they may not have naturally come together over some concept. So it could even happen. That's that type of situation where you hear somebody singing a chorus and like, damn, like, I mean, in your case, you sing, but let's say it's me and I'm like, I'm not really a singer. Like I can sing, but I'm not like a singer. So like somebody's singing something, I'm like, ooh, this just needs a little something more. My DJ Khaled role is I'll look over into the audience. I'll be like, oh, there was that singer that signed up before, but they haven't come up because they're like too nervous. It's their first time. So I'll go over there. I'll be like, hey, do you think you could harmonize with this? Because that's all we really need. We just need to thicken it up a little bit. So they don't have to come up with lyrics. They don't have to come up with the original melody, anything. Just like use that and just like build on it. There's also the, don't freak out. You're going to go up with somebody else instead of like your first time being like naked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my role. I'm just trying to put the right people together. Yeah. Eventually we'll get there. So Pat Riley, DJ Khaled, who else am I? We'll figure it out.
It's a pretty wide scope, to be fair.
We'll work
man.
our way to like Luke Skywalker or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't know.
Master puppeteer, dance for me, puppets. Dance.
But it's interesting that you bring up Khaled, actually, because I think that there is something to be said for producers as well. I don't think
agree.
they necessarily get the credit. I mean, this is not maybe the best person to bring up
Yeah,
in the world
exactly.
right now, but like somebody like Diddy, you know what I mean? It's like,
Wow, I
but
thought you were talking about Khaled. It's not the best person in the world.
No.
but-
Well, I mean,
Okay, I gotta leave this interview.
for artists as well.
Me too.
But like,
actually,
but if you look at what Diddy did, and I don't mean what
Wow.
Diddy did, but I mean,
I saw the files. I did.
I saw the
50 Cent
yeah.
documentary.
If
so-
we look at what he did musically,
Okay, all right.
he definitely like put some of the most talented songwriters, singers, rappers, beat makers, engineers.
They weren't allowed to leave the room.
In the room, yeah, exactly. Well, literally, they were locked in there under pounds of baby oil, but that's a different conversation. But like, regardless, like whether you're talking about a Diddy or a Khaled, not necessarily Dr. Dre as much because he actually does engineer and like compose and shit and sample, but like. Yeah, I don't think producers get their just due, honestly. Like it isn't even in movies, it's like it takes a producer. It's not just the director. You need the guy that's gonna fund it and put it all together for it to take place, you know?
You know, I love movies too, and sometimes we talk about like, oh, if only it was the director's original vision that wasn't tainted by blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But there's a few directors where you check out their stuff and like, yeah, that first movie where the producer had to be like, no, don't do this, was so good compared to their like auteur cinema.
Really?
You know, I mean. Look at George Lucas in the prequels. Once he had all the money and could do exactly what he wanted, oh
Went
my
off the deep
God,
end.
this is what you came up with? You know what I mean? Maybe you need somebody else to direct, George.
challenge
Maybe
you,
somebody else should write it, George. Like, you know.
That's how I feel about M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't like all M. Night Shyamalan, but he's basically doing Twilight Zone episodes. He's basically doing
You're not wrong.
schlocky, like, crap, but I kind of like schlocky crap. Or some schlocky crap.
Yeah,
you
some
know?
schlocky crap.
Yeah.
I liked Old. I like certain things. of
Old
his,
was
but-
so over the top. So over the top. I'm like, wow, you're going all in.
Yeah.
You're just no apologies. We're going for it.
Yeah.
Great. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know? It's like we got the Street Fighter thing right here. Like all of those characters are terrible, awful stereotypes. Like
Wow, yeah.
Dalsim, Blanca, like everyone is just insane, you know? But that's part of the appeal of
It's
this
fucking
crazy
awesome is what
fucking
it is.
game,
Yeah, it's
right?
fucking
Like,
awesome.
True.
you know? So whatever.
No,
Yeah.
that's really true, man. That's really.
Am I going to get
hilarious.
canceled over Street Fighter? About
I doubt it. I
liking
don't
Street
think so.
Fighter?
If I said it, maybe, but I think you're okay. I think you'll be all right.
Although I'm looking forward, speaking of movies, I'm looking forward to the new Street Fighter movie. Have you seen the trailer for
I
that?
am super looking forward to
I'm-
it because
I'm
I
looking
feel like
forward to
they're
that.
going very, very game, very cartoonish,
Again,
very like over
all
the
in.
top,
They're
like
going
lean
all
into
in.
the madness
You have to
and,
with Street Fighter.
and nonsensicalness of
Yeah.
the situation.
Because like we're not watching Street Fighter for the story, right? Like we're like, let's be honest here.
No, man, I just want the video game to be on screen.
Exactly.
Although I remember watching the first anime,
Yeah.
and that I was like, "What's the story? What are they going to do with the story? Like, how does, M. Bison figure into this? Like, how are they going to, you're kind of curious, But total aside, but I feel like I can't talk about Street Fighter without mentioning this one thing. Mortal Kombat movie. This is 100% just name dropping. There's no purpose for me to say this. My cousin is in it.
Really?
My cousin is Liu Kang.
That's
Really?
Holy shit.
Just totally, but I've never met him. Like, I have cousins that I've never met, and so whatever. But I just feel like we can't talk about Street Fighter without talking about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat.
That is cool.
I can't talk about Mortal Kombat without saying that my cousin's in it. So
Shout out to Liu Kang, bro.
Name dropping in the
Whatever.
chat. Let's
whatever,
go, man.
whatever.
That is awesome.
All of my cousins are much more successful than I am, so they're special.
Yeah.
They're special. I just work, but
I mean, listen, if I take it back to the Vincent effect
okay. Oh, here we go.
and the
again.
people's lives. I mean, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna actually bring it back to the basics. I'm gonna bring it back to me. And actually,
That's what you're here for.
one of the things that you guys used to do, which I would love to see come back, is the freestyle competition. You can talk about why you're apprehensive towards
No,
it,
no, no, no,
or
I
why
would
it may. Oh, you'd love for it to come back. Okay,
It's
great.
just So first of all, the freestyle is we were doing rap competitions essentially, and specifically based around challenges that required you to freestyle.
Right, exactly. You had
Right.
the words on screen, you had the images,
Mm-hmm.
you had sometimes the audience would give a topic, something of that nature. And that's one of the first competitions that I won. And one of the judges was Guillaume Gingras, who was like, hey, I saw you at end of the week events before. You're dope. Do you want to come compete in end of the week this year?
Right.
That's when I won my first end of the week, went to the World Finals, so on and so forth. And actually, it's super funny. When I was in France for the second World Finals that I went to, after the event, I got approached by a couple who was like, oh my God, we know you. We just saw you perform. We were in Montreal. You were performing at this thing with a band. And I was like, was it called the Cypher? And they were like, yes. And I was like, this is so full circle. right
Wild.
now.
That is wild. Yeah. I would love to bring that back. So yeah, it was based around freestyle specifically. I loved also watching, because, end of the week, for example, some of the challenges require freestyle, but many of them don't.
Correct. It's not technically a freestyling
It's not.
competition. It's an
It's not.
MCing
They
competition.
They don't even pretend that, it's not like some kind of,
absolutely.
it's not.
Technically, the only round you have to freestyle is the objects, because it's literally like you have to rap about these objects.
Exactly.
Outside of that, you can come with pre-prepared material.
Absolutely.
Even
And
when the
that's
MC
fine.
DJ is switching the beat.
Yeah.
But yes, the freestyle
But
is
yeah,
truly.
it's truly based around freestyle. I tried to build challenges. It's also fun for me because I love rap, even though I'm not a rapper, And so I'm like, how can I come up with stuff that is not like impossible level difficulty, right? That has a level of difficulty where somebody who can freestyle, not the greatest freestyle, but somebody who can freestyle can do something with this. But if they cannot freestyle, they're just going to crash and burn, and we saw that happen on a couple of occasions, and it's like, well, I told you it's a freestyle competition. That's what it is, But you know what? More power to the MCs. They're like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm just gonna go.
Oh, man,
They tried.
It's a great experience.
tried,
It's a learning experience.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is, I would love to bring it back. We did freestyle competitions. We also did dance competitions, le mouvement. I think those were the only two sort of competition style things we did in the early days. Love to bring them back. It's just a question of mental capacity, manpower or whatever, Back in the day, we used to approach various local businesses and be like, I think we asked for $10 and a prize. And then we gave a total of $50 to the winner kind of thing. So if we had 5 businesses, kind of thing. Or maybe it was 100, we kicked in 50 in the businesses. I don't remember, something like that, but just to go around and find a whole bunch of businesses, all this kind of thing, find the competitors themselves, which is also difficult because now at this point it'd be I feel like we also would have to have some kind of, I don't want to say some kind of restriction, like maybe it's well, if you've been to France for end of the week, you can't compete in our local pit. You know what I mean?
Maybe you can judge basics, but you can't rap in it.
But I don't. But then how many people are left, right, to compete? And it's you do want to give a chance to the younger generation that hasn't done this
absolutely.
yet. Actually, on that note, so you did that competition, and it was probably, you said it was one of your first, if not the first, sort of rap competition. Darkest Millen was one of the first times, actually, possibly the first time he'd even come to Cypher, was for one of those competitions. He ended up coming in second after Monk E. Right?
Wow.
So that's just like,
Yeah.
okay, as somebody who he had never rapped with a band.
He was going as Mav back then, if I remember.
Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
because I remember
Yeah.
his face
Yeah.
on one of the La Freestyle
Yeah.
ciphers when Space Mandela
was De La
was
Ville.
De La Ville, or
Yes.
even J Def.
Oh,
possibly.
J-Def, yes, J-Def. Yes, because I was looking at those old posters recently. Yes, so there's a great, right, two MCs that at the time had very raw skill for sure. But I always make this joke, and it's not a joke, it's true. Darkest did not know how to hold a mic.
Right.
He held a mic like stand-up comedian style, like this, which, as you know, with a live band, that ain't gonna work. You got to be right next to it.
Yeah.
So he had like bad technique for performance. But we could hear what he was doing. And we're like, that kid can rap. Like, he's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
And he's going on against Monk E.
Yeah.
Like, your first thing is against an end of the week
Yeah,
champion,
exactly.
So, but anyway, I guess maybe I'll take back the thing that you can't compete or whatever, because it's great to give those opportunities for the fact that a first time Marcus Dillon, or I guess Mav, could go up against the basics for the first time. They're like, oh geez, I'm inspired now. Because
Right.
this guy I'm going up against has got stuff. I got to bring my A game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I would love to bring it back. It's just a question of manpower, time. We had actually, oh my God, I forgot her name, but there was somebody that was helping me with that, and she was kind of. I was mostly doing the sponsor. I think maybe she found a couple of sponsors, but she was mostly going and finding the MCs. So if we had somebody that was, hey, if you're listening to this podcast,
I am listening to this podcast, and I'd love to find more MCs.
I
actually.
would love to actually, yeah. And you also work with a lot of youth.
And most of the youth, especially because we do a summer residency. So now
Okay.
we work with youth that are also over the age of 18, because obviously,
Yeah, you'd have to be.
you have to be over the age of 18 because it's a bar.
Yeah.
And I tell them all, you
Right.
have to go to Cypher. I'm seriously,
Yeah.
just literally, as like you said, Mav, Darkest Millen,
Yeah.
became a better performer
Absolutely.
and are therefore a better perform. Like when I perform my own music or a set and it's just me and a DJ, I'm a way better performer, and I can interact with a crowd and manage the whole energy and the situation, literally being an MC, master of ceremonies, much more in a much deeper level of, because of performing with a band and understanding space and time and where to get in and get out, and so I feel like I definitely always tell
Yeah.
all young artists too that I encounter, just like, hey, like how often do you go like to live events?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like listen to live music.
I think there's also the perhaps not so much in the youth that you're dealing with, but the slightly older people who were, say, in college, university when the pandemic hit, have been very like, I don't go to stuff. I scroll. That's what I do. And so there's also that aspect of, actually, you also mentioned like social anxiety.
I'm
you know,
that
which
guy.
regardless of pandemic, it's just like I don't like going out there. I don't like, So it helps to kind of get past that if there's a goal that you have, like, oh, I'm gonna compete in this thing. And it's crazy that something that public can sometimes kind of wash away the fear, because it's like I'm doing a job as opposed to I just have to like engage in small talk with people. No, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a funny thing that happens there. So anyway, I'd love to have it come back. I'd love to have the dance competitions come back. In fact, there's been some discussion. Perhaps something will come back with the dance competitions. We also have done a couple of other dance competitions. There's The Chosen, which we did last year. Goldie from Urban Element is the one that organizes it. It was at Théâtre Fairmount 2 years ago, and they're going to do it again, I believe, this December. Awesome event with dancers from all over the place,
Nice.
and it's. I love performing for dancers. Like the fact that. Okay, this is more like a jazz guy's perspective, like people who like went to school for music or whatever. it's like, oh, you're gonna learn your scales, you're gonna learn this, you're gonna da 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 da. It's like music and dance did not used to be two separate things.
Right.
Right. It was both expression around music, you know? And the fact that now it's like, no, you learn this, you learn this, you learn this, and you don't know how to like move to music, but you can play your scales really well. Like there's some weird disconnection that's happened there.
Yeah.
So every opportunity we have to reconnect that and to play for dancers and realize that the way I was playing works for somebody like intellectually listening, but does not work for somebody who wants to dance to it. It's like, ooh, I got to rethink what I'm doing. This is not working right. I got to change the way I play, you know? So anyway, that's a whole other topic, but
That's
you know,
interesting.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I was listening to you talk, and the question kind of just popped up into my head, because I feel like there may be two schools of thought on this. Can you learn rhythm, or is rhythm something that is natural? And I'm serious, because
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
It is I've had students, many students, who had real difficulty with rhythm.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest thing to improve, because it is so innate,
Yeah.
right? I've had students that I put a song on, and not something complicated, just something on the radio, whatever. I'm like, just tap your foot or clap your hands, and they just can't. There's some kind of disconnection.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's physical, like in terms of they hear the beat, but it doesn't execute correctly,
Yeah.
or what. But
Interesting.
in like, this is probably a failing of my teaching. I would say it's a failing of my teaching in that in the cases I had with people who really had big rhythmic issues, I was never able to get them significantly past that bump, you know, that hump rather.
Yeah.
They got better at it, but you know, anything that we're in any domain, the things that we're strong at, we make a lot of progress on. The things that we're not strong at, we're just
Yeah. Yeah.
that thing, right? And I think that's kind of the, you know, people talk about the 10,000 hours and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it's all about like how much return do you get on time spent? Like to say, oh, you need to spend 10,000 hours, but there's the guy who spends 15 minutes and they go poof.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who spends 15 minutes and gets this.
Yeah.
So naturally, the one that does that, they're going to keep doing it and get
Yeah.
their 10,000 hours really fast. So it's not simple. I think it is teachable. I think all things are essentially teachable, but there's also innate strengths and weaknesses that will always follow us.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like I can songwrite really well. I can rap really well. I could be in the pocket really well. Ask me to dance.
yeah.
Tech has left the room, bro. Tech has left the
has
room.
left the chat.
That's hilarious.
No.
It's true. I mean, it's, you know, I have strengths and weaknesses too that I'm always like, I always say, like, let's say I loved basketball.
No.
Like, I love basketball. I'm sitting there, I'm practicing my free throw. You think I'm going into the NBA?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, I can still, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying it. That doesn't stop me from doing things that I maybe I'll play in a local league. Maybe I'll do whatever. Maybe
Right.
I'll coach. Maybe I'll ref. Maybe I'll do other things. But you know, there's also the whole thing of like, you don't have to make every passion, every interest of yours like the thing
The
you
life
do.
goal.
The
Yeah.
life. I got to be
Yeah.
the great. It's like, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. You know, although maybe that goes against the hustle. You know, you
Not
always gotta-
necessarily. No,
you
I
always gotta
think it
make
kind of helps add
know.
to, like, I think that authenticity and the intentionality kind of creates an attraction of, I mean, there's a reason, unless I'm mistaken, currently the Cypher is the longest running active musical event that is consistent for the last, even though maybe there was a 1-2 hiccup during the pandemic.
Sure.
I can't really
That's a
think
good
of
question.
another event
well,
that
I'm
is,
trying to
because
think of-
this is the 12th year of Cypher.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what started around the same time. So some stuff that started around the same time, Voyage Fantastique, Fly Ladies, which are both still
Facts.
going,
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Shout out to Dr. Mad.
and then I bet,
Walla P.
because I'm not as tied into the scene, I bet there are dance events that are like yearly that probably still occur now that might have started before me, or before Cypher, you
Right.
know. Hey, end of the week started before me. Is it still?
It's coming back this year.
It's coming back, right? So, you know, there's still long-standing traditions that are continuing in some form.
Say,
You know,
let's say
In terms of a weekly.
In terms
of
either a weekly
perhaps.
or a closer
Yeah.
consistency.
In events that are less than 1 month repetition, where the person who runs the event is Asian, then I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I
narrowing it down to
exactly.
the
Got the
smallest
monopoly.
possible
Exactly.
of all demographics.
who are bald but still have hair somehow.
Which I envy, by the way. So to be clear.
That's hysterical. No, but it's I've seen the evolution, the growth. I've been a part of it. I mean, there's the residency that's happened at Mtelis with the Jazz Fest. It's been 10 years. We experienced the traffic of Tour de Nuit tonight. And you also reminded me when we were downstairs, hey, you didn't complain when you were hired to perform for Desjardins to perform at Tour de Nuit. That's true, but that's not the point right now. And the brass band does festivals, etc. What's the next step? What's the next check? What's the next desire? What's the next,
I don't know if this is the answer you want. I want to quit it all. I'm not even kidding. So there's Cypher, there's Urban Science Brass Band, there's the workshops.
There's the workshops, LabX,
yeah.
which is the teaching aspect
Exactly,
of both
yeah.
musician and vocalists.
All of those things are going great. And I want to do other things. But they're tying me into doing those things. Right? I don't want to just back out of Cypher and it just ends. I don't want to back out of the brass band when we still have offers. We're still playing a bunch of stuff in the summer. The workshops are going great. There's a lot of people that are learning and developing and getting better. But hey, if I wanted to start a podcast, I don't have time for that. There's no way. But I can't do that right now. There's just no way, So I'm still a creative person. I'm still somebody who wants to do things, but it's there's only so much time you have to do those things. When I say I want to quit it all, I love them all. That's why I'm also still doing them. But I would say the next step, which I've been trying.
He's not going anywhere. Relax.
But the big thing is that I would like to, for real, be able to pass these projects on to the next generation and feel like they will continue in the same level of quality, but with its own flavor of a next generation taking over. The reality is, Cypher has its children already, right? I mean, Grove is one of the kids of kids of Cypher. There's many other jam sessions now. There's Palajam every
second and fourth Tuesday.
Exactly.
There's also the thing that Shane's been doing on Mondays.
Vibe
Sessions,
which is more of a singer-oriented thing. There's I don't know if they're still that active, but there's Jost Jam. There's also Offcuts, which I might be coming back. But the point is, there's a bunch of similar, like-minded kind of events. So yeah, there's that. On the other hand, I've been asked this question before, and I still don't fully know the answer. But the question is like, why is Cypher any different than any of these other events, right? I think we've kind of embarked on it a little bit. I always feel more comfortable if somebody else says it, but the reality is, Cypher is regarded as being of the highest musical quality in terms of all the different events, right? That's just the way it's seen, I'm not saying we don't have bad moments. I'm not saying we don't crash and burn. Obviously all of those things happen. But that's kind of the main reason why I'm keeping it going, is that the community around it needs this particular incarnation to exist, that they wouldn't be that happy with just the other ones existing, That's the thing that keeps me going for Cypher at any rate. But I would love to be able to fully pass this off to another generation. At the end of the day, if I died tomorrow and there was no more Cypher, I wouldn't be looking down or looking up from hell. I wouldn't be looking upon it and being sad, because there are children of Cypher. And even if there wasn't this one specific way of doing it, I'd be okay with that. It's already left its impact, both in terms of artists who just got something out of their experience with it, in terms of other events that are very much patterned off of it. My event was patterned off of other events. It's cool. So the answer is, I don't want to do it anymore, but I do still want to do it. I'm hedging my bets. And that's why I can't quit. It's like I want to and I don't want to, and I want to and I don't want to. It's like...
That's so interesting. That is super interesting. I want to ask you about maybe something that you can't fully embark on or share, but
Let's
there
go.
is
Ask me about my
something
children. Let's go.
that is happening in the summer with Jazz Fest, because the current residency as we know it maybe isn't continuing, but it's changing into something, but you can't fully explain or tell us what's going on because you're going to talk about it.
Wait,
and
so what's your
announce it
question?
soon.
What's your question?
Like, what's up with the Jazz Fest this summer and urban science and the big events of summer? Like,
So here's the thing. We've been playing at Jazz
let's
Fest.
promote.
Yeah, but that's not what you're getting. We've been playing at Jazz Fest for 10 years, right? Last year we celebrated for the first time we played outdoors with Cypher. Since Cypher's existed, we've performed at Jazz Fest. Since the brass band existed, we've performed at the Jazz Fest. This is the first year, and right now we're May 29th. This is the first year where we have not received an offer from the Jazz Fest. So we are not performing at the Jazz Fest.
What's up?
I can't help but feel a certain kind of way about that, But at the same time, that's what happens. That's fine. Like, my thing is, like, if we were super mega popular, we have our popularity. I'm not saying we're not popular, but if we were super mega popular, they wouldn't have a choice but to book us, right? If we were Angine de Poitrine, then I might feel a certain kind of way if we weren't booked at the Montreal Jazz Fest. I'd be like, what the fuck? How did they skip out on the biggest thing that there is? We're not the biggest thing. If we were selling out Club Soda every night and they don't book us, I'm like, what the, how,
Yeah.
what, But that's not what we're doing, So I may feel a certain way, but at the same time, I'm very realistic about it. I understand. It's fine. There's almost no artist that has performed at Jazz Fest every single year for their entire lives or whatever, And just because we're not booked this year doesn't mean that we won't be booked next year, whatever, That said, there are other artists that are booked at Jazz Fest who have reached out to us to do something. Nothing is confirmed, so it is still in discussion. Perhaps in a couple of weeks we'll have something to announce. But we are not ourselves booked, But that's fine.
It's okay because we're gonna.
I
clip
gave
this
you a little. That was
part,
like
and when the big Cypher urban science announcement happens,
No,
we're gonna tag Jazz Fest and say, "See what you missed out on? We're bum rushing Jazz Fest regardless." No,
Well, actually,
just joking.
here's the other thing. Like, every year, regardless of whether Cypher or Urban Science Brass Band is booked, every year at Jazz Fest, a ton of our people are performing at the Jazz Fest.
Right,
Right?
absolutely.
So I don't care. Like, if there's somebody backing, let's say you get booked at Jazz Fest, right? And you're like, oh, I have a budget for a band.
Sorry, Jazz Fest.
But do you think you're not going to hire some people that are part of Cypher?
Oh
Obviously
God,
you
yes.
are. Obviously,
if
right?
I had the monetary availability,
assuming there
I
was a
would
reasonable-
book instrumentalists for every single set that I ever do.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Oh my God.
There was a year, I think it was before
the vibration
pandemic.
of reception from a crowd to you being on stage, just you and a DJ,
Yeah.
to you being on stage with a band is just, it's monumentally different. People are just like, oh yeah, there's good music too.
Yeah.
It's not just your stupid ass rapping.
There was a year just before the Jazz Fest. I can't remember, before the pandemic. Can't remember exactly what year, but I remember I was checking out a lot of stuff. And I was like going from stage to stage, local Montreal artists, non-local Montreal artists. I would say definitely every single day at Jazz Fest, there were Cypher people on stage that were backing other artists. And probably at least like 2 to 3 artists per night had Cypher people backing them up. So I'm like, who cares if Cypher is playing at the Jazz Fest? You know what I mean? We're still there. Like,
Yeah,
we as
exactly.
individuals
Yeah,
are still
exactly.
Yeah, you made your
So-
imprint. You made your imprint on it.
there. So, that said, I'd still love to play the Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest, I mean, I grew up going to Jazz Fest. It's my first shows. My mom took me to a bunch of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
of course I love it, but I also am realistic about it.
It was a huge vibe. I'm not gonna lie. That to the MTEL is just filled
Sure.
with people
Yeah.
and just the vibe.
So
of
actually, let
the-
me talk about that a little bit.
Please.
So we did the after show MTELUS, the former Savoy of Metropolis, MTELUS, M2 of MTELUS.
M2, right? Exactly.
And last year, I remember, we'd been playing there all the time, so I knew all the security people, all this kind of thing. I passed by. I was like, so how come there's no like late night programming this year? Like, what's up? And I was talking to the guys like, yeah, they're renovating it. I'm like, they're renovating it? Like, it's going to be really cool for next year. It's like, no. It's becoming toilets. I'm like, what do you mean it's becoming toilets? It's literally becoming toilets. It's like, I don't know if I should say this, but he let me in because he's not supposed to. He's like, let me show you. I'll just unlock it. Led me up there where the sound booth was, all that stuff. It's just toilet stalls. They're like expanding the main toilets of Metropolis for some reason. It's still on the second floor, the higher level. It's like,
That's wild.
It's clearly a business decision of some kind. So that is not a performance venue anymore. It does not exist. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
They did. Jazz Fest just announced the return of their late night, like the late night jam series or whatever you want to call it. And it's happening this year at Le Balcon. So, which is a venue to the west of Jazz Fest.
Okay. I just saw, I think Grove announced that they're doing 2 nights.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Okay.
Yeah. So,
that's cool.
You know, we'll see. Maybe that'll become the new spot for the late night series. We shall see.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Le Balcon.
I don't know if we have the time to get into the politics.
What politics?
Because I know that there was a quick time that you kind of touched into the world of having a voice for the people, and it was also based in the artistry because of the challenges
it's
with
all
the
ego
music
based.
and the
It's all just I just wanted to. That's all it was. Not for people, for me.
I just want to ask you then about what is the importance of live music in the city, like what is the importance to human experience?
I think you just said it. Like, can you imagine Montreal without nightlife, without music, without live music?
We are
like,
very Louisiana-esque in that sense.
In that sense, like it's a critical. I always say in Canada, if you want to live in a big city, you only have 3 options.
Yeah.
1 is if you love the outdoors, you live in Vancouver.
Yeah.
2 is if you want to work business, push your career, you live in Toronto. And if you love nightlife, if you like arts and culture, you have 1 option. It's Montreal. I don't understand why we're not more proud of that and more pushing that in terms of the city,
Absolutely.
province as well. You know, I don't understand why the laws are built in such a way. I mean, this goes back to community, and the police came this one time 12, 13 years ago due to a noise complaint, and they shut down Community's performance. And I remember going home and I was like, what the fuck? How is this possible? And I made a little video on my phone, very badly shot. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, all this kind of thing. I didn't realize there was an election cycle. I didn't know shit about politics. I still don't know shit about politics. And I put the video out there and I said, write the borough, you know, whatever they are, the borough mayor. I don't know what they are. Like, right, this is his name. I found it on a website. Go write him. I didn't know there was an election the next week. So the thing blew up. Did a bunch of interviews for local news, CBC, CTV, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of went somewhere. And I talked with people. I tried to save Les Beaux-Bars. Of course, as we know, that didn't work out. Les Beaux-Bars does not exist anymore. But that began my process of learning about what all the rules are about this. I know we're running out of time, so I'm trying to get it in there. But that was the beginning of it, you know. And then more recently, Transition Montréal, Craig Sauvé reached out to me when they developed their party and this local election was happening. And it was basically an opportunity to actually address this stuff properly. And it was a big part of their platform. I remember talking to Craig and looking at their platform. I was like, wow, they are the only party that has something to say about nightlife. Craig also is a guitar player who has played at Divan Range, which were shut down due to noise complaints.
Divan Range.
Yeah, he's played with a whole bunch of people that I know, you know. So he knows the real nightlife scene, you know. And also when Sergio became part of it, I was like, okay, there's another guy who really knows the nightlife scene. So this is not just bullshit. This is really part of their platform. So that's why I got involved. And of course, we did not win. However, there's a new law that passed in the Plateau, which is very much based on what we were pushing. And it looks like some positive outcome might occur. So if something happens because of the fact that me and Sergio and Craig and whatever, we all had this platform, then I accomplished my goal. You know, it wasn't about becoming a city councilor or whatever. It was just, can we fix this stupid problem? The stuff is broken. Montreal nightlife is at its core. Why would we ever not support that properly?
Absolutely.
So I have high hopes.
Businesses.
I mean,
there's
look,
the whole thing.
here's the thing, right? Like, if you don't like noise, don't rent an apartment on Saint Laurent or Crescent. I mean, it's not rocket science. And then, like, also, if you look at the downtown core, commerce ain't gonna say. The only reason people go downtown right now is for nightlife. If you guys want to save the core of the city,
Food, all that. Yeah.
I mean, guys,
Yeah. Music is the blood of. Live music is the blood of Montreal. It's the lifeblood of Montreal.
Music, live music, it's all music. You know, yesterday I was talking to somebody about like me going out and listening to drum and bass back in the day, and Blizzards had a great drum and bass night back in the day.
Blizzards.
You know, and it's like it's not just about live music. Is what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like nightlife is
Being
a lot.
outside, yeah,
a lot
just
of
being outside.
Nightlife is about the restaurants that open till 4 a.m.
facts, bro.
Absolutely,
That's
it's part of that.
Exactly. I remember a story of me and Senecal leaving Cypher when it was at Bootleggers and going
Yeah.
up the street up Saint Laurent to get the peanut
$2
butter
chow,
noodles.
$2
Come
chow.
on, stop playing with it, man. Stop playing with it, man. Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
this has been awesome. Listen, before we leave, tech.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in my head and you got me right out of it. Pause. Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. I'm in. All right. Yeah, let's do it. We have a segment that we do on this show. Thank you for the layup. We have a segment that we do on this show, Vince. We call it Dropping the Gem. So essentially, and I'm pretty sure you can get a good sense of where this is going. You're an intelligent guy. What we want you to do is I'm going to give you this gem, and basically we want you to, drop a gem on these people. Now, when I say drop a gem, what I mean is any sort of wisdom that you would like to impart upon people, any sort of life advice, any sort of,
Last
something
word.
that means something to you that you want to leave the people with. We do ask, however, that you do keep it, and this is a new rule, by the way. Shout out to Steve. We do ask for clipping's sake that you do keep it to
Fuck.
No, you can fuck all you want. We're all gonna fuck after this. I mean, that's what we're here for. No, we do ask
Patreon
that you
coming
keep
soon.
it. Yeah, facts. We do ask that you keep it about 2 minutes in that range. That way we could clip it up.
Ironically, we're also running out of time for the
nice.
camera.
There is
so
that
it's
as well.
great.
Yes, so we definitely
works
are on a
out.
time crunch. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just hoping the camera stops rolling. I get excused from this. To put on my shoulders, like give advice to the next generation.
Way to put you on the spot, huh?
Get as good as you can at whatever you do. You don't even know what it is you do yet. So get as good as you can at everything. Find your specialty. Focus on that. Be realistic about your expectations, both in an overestimating and underestimating way of your worth. Go for it. That's it. That's all I can say. Go for it. Hustle. Go. Do it.
I like it. Straight into the point, man. I like it, and it meant something.
I hope. Oh, I guess you said it's for me.
Yeah, you keep the gem. We got it at Dollarama. We're good. Yeah, man.
This has been a really dope episode.
It has.
I feel like we could have went all night, way longer. I would have liked to.
That's what
But-
she said.
Hey.
That was terrible. Cut that.
No, we're actually gonna clip only that, and that's gonna be the trailer.
We'll leave it in.
No, but this has been super.
Now you're
dope,
just
man.
trying to get.
A
right?
little bit.
Oh my lord! Can you tell
had
we're children
Vincent
of the
Stephen Ong.
90s, 2000s?
Usually, Tech sends us out of the episode, so I'm just gonna say my name is Basics. I'm happy that you guys have been watching. Thank you, Vince, for your time. Thank you for what you do for the community and for the artists that have come through the Cypher factory of evolutionary music. And I'm gonna give it to my co-host, my brother Tech Luciano. to close us out.
Absolutely. Vince, we want to thank you one more time for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure, and we will get to do it again in the future. Absolutely. On that note, Montreal, hey guys, maybe don't block off the streets during fucking rush hour on a Friday night when people are trying to get to and from fucking work. But, that's a whole I'm just frustrated. This was built up in me, guys. I'm sorry. I had to get it out. And other than that, shout out to Les Habitants. We really tried. We tried to come see and conquer.
good run,
and I'm not
guys.
going to lie, because everybody who knows me knows I'm not really a hockey guy. So they're like text talking shit. But for real, shout out, man. We came far. We almost did it. We didn't do it. It's okay. We're going to get these motherfuckers next year. It's been
going
another
goals.
episode of the Hustle Podcast. You already know what to do. We love y'all, man. We out.
Subscribe.
Welcome to the hustle. If your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle, this is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle. Under pressure, never break or fold. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now welcome to the hustle. Yeah, yeah.